Thank you very much, Rob. Thank you. Well, what an honor to start talking a little bit about insurance industry and Insuretech. And the question was, is 2018 finally the year where the insurance industry will see a major transformation and innovation? And how is this going to look like, right? Is it in terms of the business model, the product offer, the customer experience, or any new opportunities? And I have the pleasure and honor to explore this question with a fantastic panel, and I hope that we will soon see the photos here flagging. And I would like to invite on stage with me Val Yap, founder and CEO of PolicyPal. As well as Roseline Koo, founder and CEO of CXA Group. And here we have the photos, wonderful, thank you. And Andries Smit, Managing Director, Asia Digital of AVIVA. Thank you, please have a seat. Yes, so before we get into depth, I would like you to talk a little bit about more in detail of your business. So what is PolicyPal? If I can ask you to start, Val.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Val, CEO and founder of PolicyPal. So PolicyPal helps individuals out there to understand, manage, and buy insurance policies in one place. So we started about 2 years ago. We created a mobile app to help you to scan and map your insurance policies using artificial intelligence. From there, you get automated portfolio overview, reminders of when you need to pay for premiums, when you need to renew them. So we're the first startup to enter MAS FinTech Sandbox, and also currently the first and only company that has graduated out of the Sandbox. We've gotten our insurance brokerage license in Singapore last September, and been working with insurance companies, individuals, and also other blockchain startups. So we identify a big problem out there, which is lack of insurance for all the crypto assets. So recently we launched our ICO, looking into 2 new products, Crypto Protect, working with a global insurer to underwrite this product for blockchain startups, and also the second product, which is peer-to-peer mutual aid insurance targeting emerging markets. So PolicyPal Network will act as a platform in this emerging markets to facilitate the underwriting, policy inception, and also claims payout.
Thank you very much. Then Roseline, if I can please ask you to give us a little bit more details about the business that you founded.
Sure, we are focused in the workplace. So what we do is we actually help employers redeploy what they spend on insurance for all their employees into early detection and disease prevention. Primarily because in Asia, chronic disease is causing premiums to escalate in double digits. So how we do that is we give each employee a wallet and recommendations on how much insurance they need and anything that's duplicated to shift to disease management, weight management, smoking cessation, gyms, yoga, everything. For employers, what that does for them is actually it helps them reduce their claims costs and look at interventions that are targeted so that they can actually reduce their overall spend. What's happened to us now is that the largest banks have white labeled our platforms so that they can actually cross-sell a version of this to the employees of the SMEs they give loans to. So now they've extended their base so that insurers and banks can actually cross-sell to SME bases. So it's different now from before. We're now also in 20 countries across Asia and also hitting the US.
Thank you very much. And actually, Andries, when I looked on the website of AVIVA, there was one sentence that really struck me because it says, we help people defy uncertainty. And again, as you are maybe here more to represent a little bit the incumbent, but yeah, what is techie in your insurance business? Give us a little bit more details about AVIVA.
Hi, Karena. Hi, everybody. It's great to be here with you, although it does feel like I've brought some of the London weather with me, so I apologize. I'm here to represent AVIVA. We're the largest composite insurer in the UK. Composite being we look after P&C, life, health, but also asset management. And hence our purpose of defying uncertainty. We've changed our mindsets over the last 3 to 4 years from just pushing products and specific lines of business to really a place of where people just wake up each day and they're worried about something. Nobody wakes up thinking, today is going to be the day I'm going to buy a policy insurance or policy. And defying uncertainty really means we want to address those worries, those needs, those concerns as you go through your life. AVIVA's been on a phenomenal transition and transformation journey over the last 3 to 4 years. I still remember in 2014, there was this classic strategy done, and digital first was this big buzzword. And we've been on a journey now to really construct that. What does that mean on the ground? What is the cables and the wires and the user experience and the impact for products? And I'm glad to be sharing some of that with you today.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you very much. And I want to go a little bit deeper because at the beginning we said, where is the insurance industry really going to be a bit more innovative? Is it on the user experience side? Is it really on the business model? Are we just able to cut out the middlemans? And if I could invite you, Val, to share your personal experience, I think that says a lot about, how the company started off PolicyPal. If you can tell us a little bit more about that.
So I started PolicyPal based on my own personal experience. In 2013, September, my mom recovered from her cancer. We spent 6 figures on her medical fees. I remember I was the one helping to sort out the claims payout. And it was a nightmare because the insurance agent that sold the policy to us was not around anymore. So we went down to the insurance company to check again and again, and realized that because the policy was lapsed once many years ago, the insurance company rejected the claim, saying that we should have gone for a second underwriting, medical underwriting, before we incepted the policy. But they took the premiums, and then the policy was still incepted when my mom was diagnosed with cancer. They rejected the claim. They returned after the premiums instead of the sum assured. We thought we'd let the matter rest. We moved on with our lives. In December 2013, unfortunately, my dad passed away due to heart attack. Then again, we have to deal with insurance policies. At home, looking at the paperwork, we're not too sure who we can ask for help because the person who sold the policy to my late father was his late uncle. Yeah, this thing happens. And then we end up going down to different insurance companies from AVIVA, AIA, etc., to one by one check, does my dad have any policy there? Because he was 59, was totally unexpected. So within a short time frame, this thing happened twice. I realized that every individual out there will have insurance policies. Their loved ones will need the sum assured to continue living if unexpected thing happen. So I started researching about this idea. At that point of time, I just moved back to Singapore from London. I had no network. I have no funds to set up a company. So I decided that, I'll just work in a bank first. I have some work experience from London, but I have zero network then. So I started working there for 2.5 years and started PolicyPal in 2016. So along the way, I have learned a lot from working with the insurance companies, other startups on understanding the customer experience, other than just my own personal experience. How do insurance companies think about engaging with their customers? And then how do I get them to accept that as a young startup, we are trying to deliver something new? Because when we first started with a new solution, we were like, okay, door knocking on different insurance companies, brokers that say, can we partner together? And then people want to manage policies there. Can we just distribute with your license? Because we couldn't get a license in 2016. Thankfully, MAS, the Singapore regulator, introduced the MAS FinTech Sandbox, and we started discussion with them to enter the MAS Sandbox. So they relaxed certain regulation requirements, such as years of experience as a CEO, compliance, paid up capital, etc. They were to test the model for 6 months with, of course, a KPI set by them. And then we managed to meet the KPIs, gotten our license. And now from having a license, what's the next step? Is that what else we can do other than providing traditional insurance? It's about identifying new market solution. That's why we are entering the crypto asset space to be able to insure these startups now holding huge amount of assets from many different people. How do we ensure that, are we looking at the value of the assets, or are we looking at the cybersecurity side?
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later. Thank you about new market opportunities actually opening up thanks to technology. But again, I think what I wanted to get to was it was really coming from the customer experience, where you said this is the part where the insurance sector is definitely ripe for transformation. I think Roseline, to build on that, yes, customer user experience, but you had a different twist to the business model, right? What insurance actually should be able to offer with your product.
Yeah, so Huawei is an example. They just bought cancer insurance for their employees and used statutory benefits in China. But what they found were too many late-stage cancers. So what the founder said was, it's too late to help these employees. We need to be there to detect the disease early, also prevent the disease happen or manage it, and then also have insurance. So how can we aggregate the entire ecosystem to do this for our employees, but personalize it to each one? So that's really our take. Can we be the aggregator and help each employee and the employer, wherever they are at that stage, but aggregate all the so what providers, and the insurers and the health screeners, so everyone in the supply chain. So that's our take. It's about your health, and it's also about the firm. How can we improve health, engage employees more, and also save money, but for the insurer, make them more profitable?
Yeah, well, arguably that was one of the questions, right? Save the money. So you're trying to push more from treatment to prevention, right?
Exactly. We're
So
shifting with
arguably-
exactly existing money.
So Andries is looking really scary at you right now. So you're taking business away from him, or no?
No, we're making them more profitable. We actually work together. So in Singapore, I am the broker. AVIVA is the main insurer. But in Vietnam, we're actually going to work together on our bank assurance client together. So we actually partner with the insurance companies, as well as the hospital chains, as well as the gyms, as well as the disease management. So it is everything.
Right. I realized that in the little pre-discussion we had, right? It will be very difficult to get here some dispute on stage, but just again, talk a little bit about, AVIVA and actually your ecosystem approach, right, to the insurance technology.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why I associate with AVIVA so much and enjoy the company is we've got a very pragmatic view of this. We recognize you have to disrupt the customer experience and fix it. You have to disrupt the understanding of customers, so the data, give them better products at the right time, at the right place, in the right way, for the right price. But you've also got to fix all the way to the back end and the manufacturing, the things that we are really good at, risk selection and management. Now, the good thing is we're not arrogant enough to think we can do all of that. That is, I think, is a false economy. Of course, we need to learn about all of those sections. So yes, we are doing things on user experience. Yes, we are doing things on data. Yes, we are doing things on risk in the back ends. But at the same time, we recognize that partnering is just so much faster, so much better, and it scales. We can partner with many, but we are quite complex organizations, let's face into that. Incumbents in insurance are not the easiest beasts to deal with. Now, if you want to layer innovation complexity on top of that, you've got no chance. So partnering with startups and even medium-sized businesses and larger-sized businesses is absolutely key for us.
I was just wondering, because you also have a wealth management side to your offer, right? Do you feel that there is more partnering, sharing in the Insuretech sector than in the fintech sector or the banking sector, or?
I think it's mixed between the areas. I come at from a different lens. Wealth management or digital wealth is one of my top 3 priorities. And it's very simple. If you go onto the Google Financial Dashboard, which is available to everybody, in Singapore, and you can filter with whichever country you want. I just don't know the Hong Kong stats, so I'll give you the Singapore stats. There's 600,000 searches for car insurance each year. 2 million for health insurance. 70 million searches for investment and investment-related services in a country with 5-ish million people. So the point about that is wealth management for us is about engagement. In the UK, people that have a pension with AVIVA log in on average 12 times a year. They talk to us 12 times a year, wanting to know what their balance is. Am I growing? What's the performance, etc. Whereas car insurance is quite a transactional. Once a year, I check your price and I buy or I not. So to answer your question, I think the disruption is different. Wealth for me is very much around the engagement layer. How do we speak to customers? How do we get more customers onto it? Because wealth management is quite, the adoption on it is quite thin. Whereas with things like car insurance, there's a lot more people percentage-wise that has that.
Keep the mic. I'll go the other way around this time because I want to get a little bit more into the tech aspect of Insuretech. So you said you cooperate and obviously you source know-how from the ecosystem. So what is your biggest priority? Where are you focusing on? What is the technology you want to have in-house? Let's name it, be it AI, big data, blockchain. I mean, what is it where you see your cutting edge and that's something you're developing in-house?
ABC, AI, blockchain, and cloud. The cloud is usually the one that surprises everybody. But I think, again, if you go through the adoption curve, and we've now passed in Insuretech, I think, over the last 2 years, that hype cycle. Right? Insuretech was the favorite and the poster child and the cliche everybody talked about. I suspect in 2018 we'll sort of go down on the agenda, but that's when it gets really dangerous. That's when all the large incumbents have now convinced the CEO that we need to talk about this blockchain thing, and there's a few POCs that have come through, and there's some data on the table and some stats. Now, the next 2-3 years is going to be really when, at scale, these things get implemented and it actually start affecting customers' experiences, different products coming to market, and ultimately just the prices as well.
And Roseline, now from your side, where do you see your biggest really competitive advantage? Is it the big data that you're leveraging to better understand the relationship actually between prevention and treatment, or is it the customer experience? Because the more employees feedback, the funnier it is, the more gamified it is. What is it that you're looking forward for?
So for us, it's actually the data. We just won one of the provinces in China, where there are 20 million residents. So right now, residents can go in and see their blood test results and all their treatment records from the province's hospitals. But there's no so what. So the province hire us to be the so what. If you aggregate the treatment records and the blood tests and their lifestyles, what does that mean for you? So what should you do to get healthier? And that would tell us anything. What can we do to intervene so that we can change the curve and the prevalence of their disease? And then can we impact pricing? So we would connect all of the providers to do the so what. But it is about the data. Also with the data, we're helping the banks to get to the employees of their SMEs at the right time with the right product. Because we do know when someone has a baby, or when they get married, or when they join a company, or when they leave, and what health issues. So, but what's important for us is that we equip anything that's personally identifiable, so they're not discriminated against, but everyone gets a personal recommendation.
Well, we'll get back to that discrimination in a second. But so again, I do understand when we look at the website, right, it seems to be all about, the user interface with the chat box and very nice to go through. We can recommend everyone to go on the website. But you actually mentioned also in terms of, technology you're looking at now at different elements. Talk a little bit about the crypto currency and the impact that it has to your insurance offer.
So we started using artificial intelligence to implement chatbots to distribute the insurance policies, and also OCR technology to scan and map insurance policy information so that the end consumer is able to understand the coverage details. And we question ourselves, what else can we do to provide more, other than just helping to optimize policy, managing them, and also distributing the policies? What else can we do? Can we go deeper by providing the insurance products together with the insurance company? So last year, I spent a lot of time trying to talk to the insurance companies that we work with. Oh, can we explore blockchain technology, putting it on a smart contract to automate claims here, etc. So then we started talking to blockchain startups. And then they told us, oh, actually, they've been looking for insurance to protect the assets, be it their crypto wallets, crypto exchanges. Last year, a lot of talks about ICO, a lot of talks about people going to Bitcoin and other altcoins. And people are putting money inside. So we started asking, okay, when I put money in a bank account, it's insured up to 50,000 Singapore dollars. But when I put my money in the crypto wallets exchanges, zero insurance. What happened to all the news of like Bitfinex, Mt. Gox that got hacked and then Bitcoins got lost? It's not because the Bitcoin value goes from like 1,000 to 20,000 to now 10,000. It's because of the security, the technology aspect of it. So we started understanding how can we work together with the insurance company to underwrite the product. So we've been speaking with the global insurer to underwrite this product on the technology perspective, doing a technology audit on the crypto wallets, looking into the risk involved, and how can we ensure that. Because a lot of people are getting into crypto space, but they're also worried how can they get protected in that sense. So on top of that crypto protect product that I mentioned earlier, we are also introducing peer-to-peer mutual aid insurance. So why we go on that route is because we identified around this region, 4.4 billion people are underinsured in the emerging markets. For them to get insurance policies are really costly. So how can we make insurance a lot more affordable? Is gathering the pool, put the money in. Who can facilitate that? You have to put it on a smart contract, because once on the smart contract, we are able to trigger claims payout through trusted sources. And this way, we cut down all the back and forth communications that how currently now we brokers or agents or any intermediaries to try to facilitate the claims payout. And with the blockchain technology, we are able to do so. Therefore, we now from AI moving to the blockchain per se.
And I was wondering if you want to put a little bit, a shameless plug on your own ICO that is running soon, or?
Oh, thanks, Karena. So we recently just launched our ICO. Our pre-sale is now oversubscribed. We launched our white paper last Tuesday, and then our pre-sale was out for 3 days and now oversubscribed. So if you are interested, you can go to PolicyPal network website and just join our mailing list. Our crowd sale will be announced in a couple of weeks' time. So anyone who are interested can join the Telegram group chat to understand more of the token utility, as well as how can you be part of the community.
Great, thank you. I wanted to get back to that point on discrimination, all right? And obviously, very quickly, we run into the ethical aspect, right, of what technology enables us to do, in particular when it comes to insurance and health insurance. So do you think it's leading to, positive discrimination, to inclusion, or the other way around? I mean, how do you see the danger of your own business?
I mean, if insurers, I guess, had the blood test results and the claims, they could discriminate. But I don't actually see that happening. I mean, every insurer we talk to actually takes the aggregate data. So with the aggregate data, we're really looking at a way to score. Instead of a credit score, it's a health score. There's a health age for each person versus their real age. You score a company. So of course, companies that get worse will have a higher premium, but those that improve their health score by combating obesity or diabetes can actually lower their premium, but at least it gives the transparency to the companies. So we actually see it as inclusion and transparency and not discrimination.
I mean, that was obviously my provocative question to you. Are you going to make more money at the end of the day, or do you help, people have access to insurance that beforehand did not? Who has the power, the consumer or the insurer?
Absolutely, the consumer. Absolutely. The way we think about it is, if you had a forced product, and the product was vanilla for every single person, then you would end up in this situation. But what customer data is, when they give us access to that, what that allows us to do is to tailor-make the policies to the risks that they face. A classic example is one around diabetics. So if we wind back 20, 30 years, most insurance companies wouldn't touch a diabetic. If one of your little forms said, I am diabetic, we would not insure you. The funny thing is, so we've gone through the data with the customers that have given us permission, and a well-balanced and managed diabetic patient is actually a better risk, right? So we found in the UK that by making a policy that is specific to that lifestyle, the needs, the risks that those individuals face, as long as they manage it and we can help them through the infrastructure that's available, whether it's their employer or whether it's through our direct communications and channels, we can actually help them manage that risk, and they have a fantastic financial outcome on the back of that. So we see mutual understanding, a customer's understanding as well as the insurer's understanding is actually helping towards financial inclusion, but it comes from the understanding that you can tailor-make the products.
Great, thank you. And Vali, you want to add on a little bit more on your peer-to-peer insurance that you're, launching, because that was the element that you said, no, it will actually enable more inclusion because it enables, players to the market that couldn't do that before.
Yeah, so we're targeting the first market will be Indonesia. Peer-to-peer mutual aid insurance is actually it started way before insurance companies, quite the incumbents started underwriting the products from the main party. That means it's all centralized. So now we introducing decentralized insurance. If you all remember, many years ago or decades ago, when people live in villages, they put in a sum of money in this pool. Anything happened to that family within the village, the money goes to that family because it helps to support them, and then because they have the community spirit. And then what happens when everything become urbanized? How can we trust a platform or someone to help facilitate all this? Therefore, we introduced PolicyPal network to be able to facilitate all this. And for PolicyPal network, we'll be introducing very simple products like life insurance, personal accident, property, agriculture insurance on the blockchain. Why we're introducing all these? Because these are very simple products that we are able to underwrite at very low premiums, a few dollars on a monthly basis. And then anything happen to the individual or the family, the policy payout will be given out immediately. So for agriculture insurance, for weather, we are able to get the triggers from like trusted sources and also weather forecasts to be able to pay out the claims immediately. So we're working with a few other like trusted parties in Indonesia on this to be able to launch in the market. So peer-to-peer mutual aid insurance is actually bringing back what insurance was supposed to be, because getting a whole group of people sharing the risk, pooling the risk, and cutting out all the different layers that currently now how insurance is distributed in mature markets. Yeah.
Let me go to one other aspect in closing, which is a little bit the geographical aspect. So we talked about the different services, different technologies that might, drive innovation. So I know, Roseline, you're working you're present in over 20 markets in Asia, right? So where are we going to see the biggest wows, the biggest impact from your perspective?
I think the biggest impacts will be those countries with the greatest chronic disease. So if we can use existing money that companies already spend on treatment, but we can shift it to combat chronic disease, then it will be the Indias, China's, Southeast Asia's, right? The other places are mental disease. So it's probably North Asia, where firms are shifting some of that money into stress management, positivity, depression. So what can we do in the workplace there? Because that actually impacts work. So I think it really is, could we shift existing money to do this? And governments don't need new money.
Yeah, thank you. And Andries, you can also add from a global perspective. And we talked previously, right? There are obviously always the discussion between the US versus China and who's going to win the game, be it in AI, be it in blockchain from a technology point of view, or again from a use case point of view. How do you see it? Where are we going to see the biggest wows and breakthroughs?
I think two things are going to drive it. Need, as Roseline said, where there are really systemic things that change, whether it's health or whether it's regulation in the financial space. I mean, earlier today we talked about open banking. You know, that's one of those systemic changes that are coming. But just in your question between China and US, don't underestimate the UK. The UK
I
has
knew you
got
would say that.
it's got a. I'm biased. I shall declare that. But there's many things in the ecosystem which you need for big scale disruption. I mean, Silicon Valley is one of the examples of that. But you need the absolute talent. You need the mindset of a regulator that's really supportive, and you need the money, right? If you go down to London. Old Street Roundabout, there's 3 enormous buildings that's just popped up, and it's all going to be filled with VCs and PEs, right? So watch that space. Watch China. The fintechs and insuretechs coming out of China has got huge appetite, very different mindset and drive. I think the only thing holding them back at the moment is there's so much quick wins in China still to go. So why venture off your porch if you're making so much money just here? But I do think, you know, in the next 2-3 years, the investments, as we see that money coming down into Southeast Asia, will be phenomenal. And I would look to places like Hong Kong and Singapore to be ready for that. And they already are. I'm seeing a lot of proactive thinking from the regulators, the startup ecosystems, like the one you're participating in. All the groundwork is being done. So it's not far off.
Well, I think that is a wonderful closing statement. You're all here in the right place. This is where the disruption is going to happen, even in the insurance industry. Thank you so much. A big applause for my wonderful panel here today. Thank you very much.